Tonight to the program, how the new trade tariffs will affect Thailand's economy. Then how Thailand should reposition itself amid geopolitical tensions. And we explore a local neighborhood that attracts tourists with its traditional ways of life. สวัสดีค่ะ I'm Nad Bunag and welcome to This Week with Thai PBS World. We begin tonight with the latest on the Trump trade tariffs as they affect Thailand. After the U.S. Supreme Court shut down his sweeping tariffs last Friday, stating that the president exceeded his authority when he imposed them, many countries have described this as good news. There are challenges ahead, though, because President Donald Trump announced an increase in tariffs on all U.S. imports to 15%. So what does this mean for Thailand?
If you look at that,
If we look back at the previous trade deal between Thailand and the U.S., the United States stated it would maintain a 19% reciprocal tariff on imports from Thailand instead of 36%. In exchange, Thailand agreed to eliminate tariffs on 99% of imported goods from the U.S., covering a full range of industrial, food, and agricultural products. If the U.S. trade tariffs were shot down, this would have been good news because that means Thailand would no longer be subject to the 19% tariff. Suddenly, though, trade barriers continued as President Trump imposed a blanket tariff on all imports to the U.S. of 15%. Some Thai economists have already warned Thailand not to be too complacent because trade uncertainties remain. Chairman of the Federation of Thai Industries, Griangrai Thianukul, suggests that Thai exporters need to be less dependent on major markets like the U.S. and look for alternatives. He also stressed the importance of securing the FTAs with other countries to reduce the risks for Thai exporters.
ท่าทีของทรัมป์ยังไม่อ่อนข้อแต่ว่ายังไม่รู้ว่าจะมาในรูปแบบไหนซึ่งเราก็คงจะต้องคอยติดตามสถานการณ์อย่างใกล้ชิดแต่ท้ายสุดประเทศไทยเนี่ยก็คงจะต้องเดินหน้าในการที่จะดึงกระจายการแสวงหาตลาดใหม่ๆลดการพึ่งพาตลาดหลักๆเพียงในไม่กี่ประเทศเนี่ยไปสู่ประเทศที่ยังมีศักยภาพในทวีปอื่นในประเทศอื่นๆคือการเร่งเจรจา FTA เดินหน้าเจรจา FTA ให้มากที่สุดแล้วก็เปิดตลาดให้มากที่สุดเพื่อกระจายความเสี่ยงแล้วก็เรารู้อยู่แล้วว่าขณะนี้สถานการณ์ของโลกถึงแม้จะคลี่คลายแต่โลกการค้าของโลกและกติกาของโลกได้เปลี่ยนไปโดยสิ้นเชิงละ
The trade tariff will impact Thailand's economy in several key areas, such as exports, foreign direct investment, and the exchange rate. Thai economist Dr. Amonte Chawla of CIMB Thai says that the trade uncertainties could lead to lower exports, lower foreign direct investment, as investors will have to wait and see if the Trump administration imposes further tariffs, and also a stronger Thai baht if the U.S. dollar weakens, which would eat into exporters' profits. Another concern he noted is the tariff on China, which could lead to more cheap Chinese goods being dumped into Thailand and other ASEAN markets. Therefore, he suggests that Thailand should diversify its export markets very quickly and strengthen anti-dumping measures and attract high-quality investment to reduce the impact of trade tariffs and maintain a long-term economic stability. And the sudden tariff increase definitely adds pressure on the Thai private sector. President of the Thai Chamber of Commerce and the Board of Trade, Pot Aram Watananon, identified three key issues. Firstly, there's the risk of increased production costs and reduced competitiveness of Thai products in the U.S. market. Secondly, the uncertainty over the U.S. trade and tariff policies will make it much harder for Thai exporters to conclude trade or investment deals. And thirdly, the tariff uncertainty will put pressure on investors to adjust the structure of supply chains and relocate their production bases. For these reasons, he urged the government to speed up trade negotiations with the United States, which would help the Thai private sector adjust their business plans and improve their competitiveness in the long term. Despite the challenges, Finance Minister Ekniti Nitithamprapat has expressed optimism. He believes that the new 15% tariff would benefit Thailand because it is lower than the 19% reciprocal tariff previously imposed. He has instructed the Commerce Ministry to speed up trade talks with the U.S. Trade Representative to preempt the risk of increased tariffs being imposed by the Trump administration, to pursue FTA talks with other countries, and to explore additional markets for Thai products. Meanwhile, the Commerce Minister Suphaji Suthampan previously mentioned that the trade talks with the U.S. will continue to maintain trade and investment relations and to ease the impact of this latest tariff measure on Thai exporters. Trade tariffs aside, there is still some good news regarding exports. Thailand's exports in January 2026 increased by 24.4% to $31.5 billion or about 980 billion baht, which is the largest monthly increase in 4 years. The sharp increase is attributable to increased global demand for Thai electronic products. Thailand's major export markets for electronic and tech products include the US, China, the EU, and ASEAN member countries. These markets saw impressive growth of 27% for markets like the US, China, and Japan, 5% for the ASEAN market, as well as 22.7% for secondary markets. And the U.S. market expanded by 43%, continuing 28 months of consecutive increases. Major products include computers, accessories and spare parts, telephones and accessories, transformers and parts. At the same time, exports of jewelry and ornaments, rubber and clothing products have contracted. Well, it is certain that trade tariffs will take a toll on Thailand's sluggish economy one way or the other. On this issue, I spoke with two experts to try to find out what the upcoming Thai government should do to navigate the impacts.
I use these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country.
The sweeping trade tariffs introduced by U.S. President Donald Trump being shot down last week may be something of a relief. But a new 15% tariff on all imports into the U.S. has been imposed for at least 150 days. Pawida Pananon, a lecturer from Thammasat University, describes this as a temporary breathing space, but also a serious wake-up call for Thailand in the long term.
I think that it is a breathing space because we haven't concluded any agreement with the U.S. So that buys us sometimes when the government is being formed to see the dust a little bit, how it would settle and how we should go about that. So that is a little bit of a reprieve in terms of time to breathe and think. Also, the 15% imposed on all countries across the board remove that kind of the tariff differential advantage that one country might have over another.
Right.
So when it is 15% for everybody, then we really have to compete based on the competitiveness of our export.
Global trade uncertainties will not only put Thai exports at risk, but will also have a significant impact on Thailand's economic growth. As global supply chains are changing, Thailand needs to consider diversification of their export markets instead of relying on the same major markets like the US.
I think right now we are looking at how countries can improve their competitive advantage in their export sector. I think two things that all countries are doing the same is to be aware that they have to diversify their market. And that's why I think Thailand also is trying to conclude several free trade agreements with many countries. So that's one thing. But I think the more, the deeper and the concerning issues are investment, because trade is one area, but we have to be aware that the items that we export are also the intermediate products that are traded among multinational companies. So if those companies reconfigure their supply chains by perhaps consolidating in one region over another, that would also pose risks for Thailand in terms of continuing to attract foreign direct investment into our country.
Meanwhile, former Trade Representative Weerapong Prapha suggests that the Thai government needs to go beyond trade negotiations if they are hoping to boost economic growth.
So if we do nothing, then that's going to be significantly impact in terms of our growth trajectory because Thailand export competitiveness will be much lower compared to our competitors. But of course, we want to go beyond 1.5 to 2%. Hopefully, the current government has a target of reaching 3%. I think it has to go beyond the trade negotiations. There has to be some other structural reforms, policy in place, like reforming the regulations in terms of our rules and regulations, expediting our investment process, investing in our infrastructure, and finally, if we want the growth rate to go as expected between above 3%, then you got to think about the new growth engines and the new policy that are much more structural.
In light of the trade tariffs, the Thai government has offered an assurance that bilateral trade talks will continue. But Weerapong suggests that a lot could be learned by studying other countries' success in negotiating tariffs with the U.S. administration. But there's a bigger threat ahead, which is the use of Section 301 of the U.S. Trade Act, which allows the U.S. to impose retaliatory measures against countries using unfair trade practices. Thailand remains on the watch list by the Office of the United States Trade Representative. This could become a stumbling block in trade negotiations with the U.S.
I think it's my most worrying concern right now because it is Achilles' heel for Thailand because last night, Ambassador Jamieson Greer gave an interview to Bloomberg to say that he's actually opening an investigation to look at forced labor practices in supply chain, looking at rice subsidy, fishing and seafood subsidy, looking at excess capacity and industrial goods, looking at digital services and trade liberalization. These are all the things that the USTR have actually clearly expressed that Thailand is on the watch list. So I think it's a really strong signal that if we don't prepare for it, it could be very much our weakness in terms of our negotiation.
Both experts believe that a proactive and strategic approach is required to secure the trade deals with the U.S. Pawida suggests that the government avoids rushing into trade agreements and takes time to understand shifting global supply chains. On the other hand, Weerapong has called for immediate engagement with the U.S. trade representatives at the policy level. Despite that, they still have high expectations that the Thai government will be able to secure trade deals with the U.S., as well as FTAs with other countries, which will help diversify export markets for Thailand. Nad Bunag reporting for Thai PBS World. And other factors affecting global trade and trade with the United States in particular are geopolitical tensions. From tensions between the US and China, the Middle East, to along Thailand's borders, how should the incoming Thai government navigate these challenges? Let's find out more with Gitipat Chusukjit.
The world is entering a period of deep uncertainty. It has been 4 years since the Russia-Ukraine war erupted. Fighting in Gaza continues. Major powers are competing for influence. Under a new government, Thailand now faces a clear question. How should it position itself in a world divided by war? While fighting between Russia and Ukraine continues, global attention has shifted compared to the early stages of the conflict. For Thailand, the conflict matters. It directly affects energy prices, food supply chains, and global economic stability.
การที่รัสเซียจะเข้ามาในเอเชียเนี่ยก็จะต้องมีพันธมิตรที่ มีบทบาทในเอเชียที่ช่วยผลักดันรัสเซียซึ่งหนึ่งในนั้นที่รัสเซียมองมาตลอดก็คือประเทศไทยเพราะว่าเราเนี่ยเป็นหนึ่งในประเทศผู้ก่อตั้งอาเซียนนะครับแล้วก็ประเทศไทยเองเนี่ยก็มีภูมิศาสตร์ที่เชื่อมโยงกับประเทศต่างๆในอาเซียนรวมทั้งมีบทบาทหลายๆอย่างกับทั้งจีนและสหรัฐเพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยการเป็นพันธมิตรที่ดีกับไทยเนี่ยก็จะทำให้รัสเซียเนี่ยมีบทบาทเด่นขึ้นมาในสายตาของจีนและสหรัฐนะครับแล้วก็ในขณะเดียวกันในมุมกลับกันเนี่ยเราก็ได้ประโยชน์จากการที่มีความใกล้ชิดกับรัสเซียเพราะว่าเราจะกลายเป็นประเทศหนึ่งที่ไม่ถูกบังคับให้เลือกข้างอย่างชัดเจนแล้วก็ทำให้เห็นว่าทุกครั้งที่เราอยู่ในภาวะที่อึดอัดระหว่างจีนกับสหรัฐเนี่ยเราก็จะมีรัสเซียเป็นทางเลือกหนึ่งที่จะให้รัสเซียมาเป็นคนช่วยไกล่เกลี่ยหรือว่าช่วยเป็นอีกทางนึงว่าอยากให้ประเทศไทยเป็นกลางนะครับ
Meanwhile, the war between Hamas and Israel continues to affect the wider Middle East. The humanitarian situation in Gaza remains serious. Regional tensions are rising. The conflict also involves major powers and has strong political and humanitarian dimensions. For Thailand, the Middle East is important both politically and economically. The region is a key source of energy and an important export market.
เราเนี่ยมีต้นทุนความสัมพันธ์ที่ดีเราควรที่จะเน้นการพูดที่มุ่งไปเรื่องของมนุษยธรรมและความมั่นคงทางอาหารที่เป็นที่ต้องการของตะวันออกกลางและเป็นจุดเด่นของเราโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งอุตสาหกรรมฮาลาลอะไรต่างๆเนี่ยนะพูดง่ายๆก็คือว่าในท่ามกลางความขัดแย้งในตะวันออกกลางสงครามที่เกิดขึ้นเราสามารถที่จะแสดงบทบาทเป็นผู้เล่นในการหยิบยื่นความช่วยเหลือด้านมนุษยธรรมด้านสาธารณสุขด้านการแพทย์ด้านอาหารให้กับทุกฝ่ายที่เกี่ยวข้องนะฮะอันเนี้ยมันจะสร้าง image หรือภาพลักษณ์ที่ดีให้กับประเทศไทยและเราจะได้รับการชื่นชมเป็นอย่างดีในขณะเดียวกันเราก็จะได้ผลประโยชน์ในระยะยาวด้วย
Thailand should act as a middle power, not choosing sides. Dr. Mano suggests that Thailand should start building leverage by working with all major powers and partnering with other middle power states. An expert also believes Thailand's neutral diplomacy is the right approach.
เป็นกลางอาจจะไม่ได้แปลว่าเราไม่ได้เลือกข้างนะคะเราก็อาจจะมีเลือกข้างแต่ว่าเราจะไม่มีแล้วค่ะไอ้ที่เป็นยูนิโพล่าปัจจุบันนี้มันมีหลายขั้วนั่นแปลว่าถ้าเป็นขั้วการเมืองเราก็ไม่จำเป็นต้องเลือกข้างใดข้างหนึ่งอย่างที่เราก็ทำทุกวันนี้อยู่แล้วขั้วเศรษฐกิจเราก็อยู่ในความร่วมมือของพหุภาคีในหลากหลายเวทีจริงๆแล้วเราก็คงไม่ต้องระบุชื่อว่ามหาอำนาจทั้งหลายเป็นใครแต่ว่าสิ่งที่ไทยทำอยู่ทุกวันนี้นะคะมันก็คือการไม่เลือกข้างมันก็คือการเป็นกลางอยู่แล้วค่ะแต่ว่าสิ่งที่เรายึดเป็นแกนกลางของเราก็คือบทบาทในเวทีอาเซียนของเรา
In a divided world, consistency and careful diplomacy may be Thailand's most important tools. For Thailand's new government, foreign policy has to be balanced between ideology and resilience. Kitipat Chun Sukjit, Thai PBS World.
Well, it's not going to be an easy challenge for the upcoming government. And now let's have a look at the other stories making headlines throughout the week in our weekly roundup. Thai Foreign Minister Sihasak Phongketkaew said Cambodia has demonized Thailand through false accusations and distorted narratives, despite Thailand's long-standing good intentions to help. Sihasak was speaking at the high-level segment of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. Thailand's national flag carrier has denied claims that it has been involved in transporting military aircraft parts for F-35 fighter jets to Israel, insisting that it strictly complies with international aviation and customs regulations in all cargo operations. The airline's clarification was issued after a small group of protesters gathered in Federation Square in Melbourne, accusing the airline of helping to ship jet parts to Israel, which they claimed were being used in military operations in Gaza. Imprisoned former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra will become eligible for release on parole in May, and whether he will be required to wear an electronic monitoring device will be decided by a sentence reduction panel, according to a statement issued yesterday by the Corrections Department. Thaksin, who was convicted and sentenced to 1 year in prison on corruption charges, will become eligible for parole on May 10th, and subject to approval, will be freed the following day. Looking at the ASEAN region now, the Philippines is in the chair of ASEAN this year, and one of the issues being taken into consideration is a peace plan and a long-term envoy to oversee the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. Thai PBS World recently spoke with the Philippines Secretary of Foreign Affairs as she explained the importance of this idea. ASEAN is considering a review of its 5-point consensus as well as a long-term special envoy position to oversee the situation in Myanmar. The Philippines currently serves as the ASEAN chair after assuming this year's chairmanship from Malaysia. The Philippines Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Teresa Lazaro, explains that several member states raised the idea during the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat in Cebu.
It has been decided by the ASEAN foreign ministers during our retreat in Cebu that the 5-point consensus will remain dominant and will continue to be the foundational document in our relations in Myanmar. However, recalibration has been mentioned by a number of ASEAN member states during the retreat in Cebu. And to a certain extent, I think there should be some kind of a review of the 5-point consensus. But it really depends. You know how ASEAN works. It's always by consensus. But there has already been an indication of some ASEAN member states for a possible recalibration in ASEAN's relations with Myanmar.
The Philippines believes that ASEAN should appoint a long-term special envoy, replacing the current system in which the rotating ASEAN chair appoints a different envoy each year, as she stressed the need for institutional continuity to help Myanmar overcome its crises.
I think what is the position right now is for Myanmar to be able to handle this crisis and to come up with a position whereby to overcome this crisis, and it will be Myanmar-led and Myanmar-owned. However, it is also it's ASEAN's position to make sure that Myanmar will overcome this crisis in the way that we have been discussing among the foreign ministers of ASEAN member states along the lines of the 5-point consensus.
As a special envoy of the ASEAN chair to Myanmar, Lazaro said she has engaged both Myanmar's military leadership and other stakeholders in line with the consensus, including traveling to Naypyidaw to meet senior officials and convening discussions with stakeholders in the Philippines. Despite this, Myanmar still has 2 matters on which to focus, which also remain central to ASEAN's engagement.
The 2 things that Myanmar should really react to, one is the cessation of hostilities, and the second one is the humanitarian aid. The humanitarian aid should be able to reach the areas that have not really benefited from the provisions that has been given by the international community, particularly the ASEAN.
Above all, she emphasizes that the 5-point consensus should be used as a foundational document to strengthen ASEAN's relations with Myanmar. On the border tensions between Thailand and Cambodia, she stressed that the matter remains bilateral. Still, the ASEAN Observer Team under the Philippines chairmanship will monitor the ceasefire closely, stating that they are prepared to take on what it calls an important responsibility. Now it's time to move away from the bustling areas of Bangkok to an underrated neighborhood which has developed community-based tourism. This neighborhood is preserving local ways of life while also highlighting this activity, which is the making of traditional Thai desserts, an activity that anyone can enjoy. Let's find out more with Warisara Sahan.
Amid the bustling, busy areas of Bangkok, Phum Bampen has developed community-based tourism in which local residents are eager to showcase workshops on traditional Thai desserts while preserving their traditional ways of life. Houses face the canal, with the water serving as their front yard. Many residents still rely on the waterways as their main form of transportation. Some homeowners have even transformed parts of their houses into workshops, welcoming visitors to experience their way of life.
It's so much more peaceful and relaxed, and it doesn't feel so like touristy and crowded. It's more of a closed community where you get to talk to actual people, and you get a more look into like what actual Thailand's about instead of just like what it's been made to be for tourists.
I think it's good that it's kind of a generational teaching like this, because most of the students today were young, and I would say mostly girls who like to learn about the sweets, but maybe they have other workshops about other topics. And definitely the teachers are older and they share this Thai craft knowledge to younger generations. So I hope they keep on passing on this knowledge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you recommend your friends here?
Yeah, definitely. I will tell them it's nice and it's a good escape from the city for weekend.
As you can see, many young people come here to learn how to make the Thai traditional desserts while also filming for their content. This wave of social media has helped revive the community. Auntie and uncle even said they have prepared the mobile stands just for them.
คิดว่าโซเชียลเป็นสิ่งดีที่ทำให้คนได้รู้จักตรงนี้มากขึ้นคือถ้ามันไม่มีโซเชียลหนูก็ไม่มีวันรู้ว่าแบบมีคอร์สเวิร์กช็อปทำขนมไทยทำผ้ามัดย้อมระบายสีอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะก็เลยคิดว่าจริงๆแล้วมันน่าจะดีที่ทำให้แบบว่าโซเชียลเข้ามาทำให้เราแบบรู้จักมากขึ้นใช่เหมือนเข้าถึงอะไรได้ง่ายขึ้น
รัตนประโชติ Phum Bampen, the leader of the Phum Bampen community, says social media has become one of the key drivers behind the community's growth, as the area was very different in the past. He explains that it all began with a single homestay that opened in the community, which later inspired the shift towards community-based tourism. He adds that online platforms have since become important marketing tools, although they have also brought some unintended side effects.
มีนักศึกษาจากจังหวัดต่างๆไม่ใช่แค่นี้นะนครปฐมแถวปริมณฑลมาหมดไกลสุดจากเชียงรายเดินทางมาเพราะว่ามาถึงที่นี่มาที่นี่หนูคิดถึงบ้านเลยเหมือนกับบ้านนอกบ้านหนูเลยอันนี้ดีใจที่เรามีสภาพแวดล้อมเป็นอย่างนี้
The community only opens on weekends, as most of the mentors are senior residents. For them, this has become something they truly look forward to. Nanta Hasitawet, one of the mentors, comes from a family that once ran a traditional Thai sweets and desserts business before she joined the Thai dessert workshop in the community. She says that she and other mentors volunteered their time willingly, hoping to pass on their skills and knowledge to learners.
คุณค่าเลยล้นเหลือเลยเอาในวัยเนี้ยส่วนมากถ้าเกษียณตัวเองมาแล้วเนี่ยอยู่บ้านได้อะไรเจอหน้าคนนู้นคนนี้นะดูทีวีดูโทรศัพท์มันไม่ได้อะไรความรู้ที่เรามีมันก็หมดไปกับตัวเราอยากได้ให้ความรู้ของเราที่อยู่กับตัวเราเผยแพร่เพื่อเด็กรุ่นหลังรุ่นต่อไปให้ได้เรียนรู้แล้วก็ให้ขนมไทยเนี่ยมันมีมาต่อยอดไปทุกยุคทุกสมัย
เราเห็นคุณค่าของตัวบุคคลในชุมชนเนี่ยเขาดีใจนะเขาภูมิใจนะพาเขาไม่ได้มาสอนเขามาทำอาหารตามสั่งได้มาทำก๋วยเตี๋ยวได้
Thai massage, Thai dye clothing, and the making of luk chup, a traditional Thai dessert made of fruit-shaped mung beans, are also included in the community's workshops. With the rise of social media, the Phum Bampen community has not only opened up space for creative workshops, but also created opportunities for stay-at-home seniors to pass on their knowledge to younger generations while earning a modest income on weekends. Warisala Sahan reporting for Thai PBS World.
And I would love to visit this neighborhood one day. And that's all for this edition of This Week with Thai PBS World. Join us every Friday at 10 p.m. only on Thai PBS. You can also follow us on social media and our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest stories and analyses about Thailand. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ
ยามเช้าแบบเดิมๆจำเจไปหรือเปล่าเปลี่ยนเช้าวันใหม่ให้สดใสกว่าเดิมสติกเกอร์ไลน์ไทย PBS ยกแก๊งชุดใหม่สวัสดีทุกสีวันแชทส่งได้ครบ7วัน7สีเพราะเรื่องดีๆมีให้คุณทุกวันพร้อมอัปเดตข่าวสาระดีๆไม่พลาดดูสดดูย้อนหลังผ่านทางไลน์ไทย PBS แชทสนุกดุกดิกได้ใช่ทุกอารมณ์โหลดฟรีวันนี้ถึง11มีนาคมนี้เฉพาะเพื่อน Line @ไทย PBS เท่านั้นค่ะดาวน์โหลดสติกเกอร์ไลน์ไทย PBS นกแก๊งกันเยอะๆนะคะ